future million miler.
So there are 6,000 sets of traffic lights in London. That's why the traffic is so slow. The average speed of traffic in London is 7.5 miles per hour. There are more traffic lights in London than the whole of the United Kingdom put together. Thanks to the Mayor of London, his name is Sadiq Khan, and he wants to slow down the traffic in London. On the left are our evil competitors on the city sightseeing bus who fired all their guides at the start of the pandemic. Have a look at their faces and look how bored they look on that bus, just over there. Feel free to take photographs. So, on the left is something saying where there will be a market tomorrow. My friends, the UK, it's still very nice, it's the Shell oil burning, and this is why everybody in London in Brexit is going to feast ahead this year. They just announced an office of £10.5 million for 3 months' work. Evil people. Even though my fuel bill recently went down by £20 a month, I thought you might like to know that. Now, if anybody here has ever seen the movie The Brutalist, on your left, this is called Brutalist architecture, and this is what London was supposed to look like at the end of the Second World War. Isn't this horrible? Look at that. Ooh. How bad is this building on your left? I would sooner listen to Ed Sheeran than have to look at this building. Anybody here like Ed Sheeran? Any bad taste? Now, do we have any Swiftie fans on the bus? Are there any Taylor Swift fans on the bus? Be honest, ma'am. Now, ma'am, Taylor Swift is a cultural phenomenon. Now, every time she comes anywhere, she always gives a lot of money to the food banks and homeless people, which is absolutely beautiful. Now, the first time Taylor Swift ever appeared in London was the year 2008, and only 20 people turned up to see her, and only 5 of them have bought a ticket. That yellow building on your left is called King's College, and that's where Taylor Swift first appeared in London. It's also where Professor Maurice Wilkins discovered that everybody in the world has a different DNA. So if it wasn't for that building on your left, we wouldn't have CSI Miami. On your left, you have parts of King's College. On your left, you have the Royal Hospital for Women and Children, founded by Edward VII. The firstborn son of Queen Victoria. In front of you is the IMAX cinema, the largest screen in Europe, where you can see movies in 2D, in 3D and in 4D. 2 Sundays ago, this is the building Tom Cruise abseiled down for the premiere of Mission Impossible 32. He is 4'1" and 62 years old. There are 200 bridges over the River Thames. Oh, by the way, if anybody likes beer, sir, underneath the archway, turn left and it's the cheapest pub in London. It's called the Hole in the Wall, and it's the only place in London where you can buy a pint of beer for around £5. Just under there, underneath the arches. Oh, that got your attention, didn't it? Yes, it is. And the best place to get a steak in London is here on your left. It's called the Black and Blue. They do set meals, 2 courses, £26. The best steak you will ever have in your life, I guarantee. Black and Blue, and we'll be back here a little bit later. Now, the first bridge we're going over today is called the Waterloo Bridge. It's the best bridge in London because it was built during the Second World War by women. Let's try that again. The Waterloo Bridge was built during the Second World War by women. Yay! Thank you, feminists. It's the only bridge in London to be built on time and under budget. It's a work of genius. Now, get your cameras on the left. The reason why you're crying, by the way, is the horrible pollens from the trees. They're called London pines, and they make you feel like you're dying, and that's all. So if you've got glasses or shades, put them down, and they will protect you. So on your left, you're about to see the London Eye, and in the front of the London Eye is the clock tower. Everybody thinks it's called Big Ben, even though we know Big Ben is the name of the bell. Very good. So here we go on your left, everybody. Cameras. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5, 2.25, 2 and a little bit more, 2 and a little bit after that. It's coming up in a second now. The most beautiful thing you'll ever see in London. Ready, everybody? There. Ooh. Forget the Taj Mahal, forget the Empire State Building, forget the Colosseum, forget anything else. The most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life. Yes? On the right is the ugliest building in London. This is called more brutalist architecture. This is the National Theatre. When the king was the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, he said this looks like the back of the nuclear power station. It's not horrible. Now, we're going to see both sides of London. This is the Waterloo Bridge. There's a kink in the So on your left, you will see the 1,000-year-old part of London, called the City of Westminster, which is known for royalty and for spending money. 8.5 million people live here. With the Queen Elizabeth II Bridge, the Houses of Parliament, the London Eye, and the City of London, and this was built by the Romans as a marketplace. Its financial districts and market 23% of the world's greatness is made in that part of London. The views of London is protected by law. There are 30 protected views, and that's why all the skyscrapers were built in a very, very careful way. The big tin tower is called Blackfriars, about 4 years ago to provide affordable housing for people in London. If you went to an apartment at the top, it would cost you £5.5 million. That life is called we look at that building, everybody. Every building in London has a nickname. We call that building on your right the Kim Kardashian. Can anybody see why?
Yeah.
You can either see it or you can't, and I hope your children don't know what I'm talking about. On your right, this is called Somerset House, which used to be a palace of Queen Elizabeth I, the second-born daughter of Henry VIII. The 10% shares belong to nobody. Anybody can come here with their food and drink all day. Straight in front of you is the Lyceum Theatre, showing the most popular music in the world. And we all know the most popular music in the world is The Lion King. Has anybody seen The Lion King? Have you seen it here, ladies and gentlemen? This is where Bob Marley and the Wailers recorded No Woman No Cry, the live version. 7.5 minutes, you might remember it at the version live at the Lyceum, that's where it was recorded. If anybody wants to leave me and break my heart, you go to Covent Garden, you simply go left, right, left. Best time to go is after 4 o'clock for the street entertainers and things like that. So this is a part of London called the Aldwych. In front of you is the world's worst musical, Mamma Mia. Who said oi? Do you like it? Oh, you like it, do you? Oh, you like it? You're a fan of Mamma Mia? Ma'am, I've got good news for you. Currently, they are writing Mamma Mia 3. If anybody, by the way, wants to go to the London West End Theatre, here's my tip. Go online to a website called Today's Tix, and you can get half-price tickets for that night. And all the West End restaurants, anywhere near a theatre, always reduce their prices between 5:30 and 7 o'clock. On your left is the Theatre of Drury Lane, the oldest theatre in London. On your left, this is called the Waldorf Hotel, based on the Titanic. When they built the Titanic in 1910, this is where they based the furniture on, and also in the movie. On your right, my Indian friends, your High Commission, India House, just over there. You used to be part of the Commonwealth, which meant you don't get an embassy, you get a High Commission, but you will get an embassy very, very soon. On your right, this is called Bush House, previously the home of the BBC World Service. Nowadays, it's one of 3 complexes in London of King's College. The road on your left is called the Kingsway. At the end of the road is the best museum in London, called the British Museum. Who's been to the British Museum? You must. It's open late on Friday, and there's nothing in there from Great Britain. It's all stuff we've stolen from your countries. On your left is the London School of Economics. This is where Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones went to university. It's also where Hillary Clinton studied. And Harry Potter fans, anybody? Anybody? Be honest? No Harry Potter? The next building on your right is Gringotts Bank. The building is called the Australian High Commission. Australia House. The only way you're allowed inside this building is if you're Australian. So come here tomorrow and say, good day, mate. But this on your right, my friends, this is the Australian High Commission. Are you impressed? Do you care? 5. In front of you is William Gladstone, who was Queen Victoria's least favourite Prime Minister. She absolutely loathed him. And as we go down, on your right, a few bombers mentioned a couple of weeks ago in the Victory in Europe days, including Arthur Harris, who bombed Dresden, ended the war in Europe. On your right is St Clement's Danes Church, the Royal Air Force Church. Have a look at the bomb damage done to this church in 1941 during World War II. It still has the damage here to show you the stupidity and the futility of war. On your right is Dr. Samuel Johnson, who wrote the world's first dictionary. What's he reading? His own book, his dictionary. On your right, BK News, where Bridget Jones bought cigarettes. On your, are you keeping up with this? On your left is the Royal Courts of Justice, the Civil Court, the Appeals Court. This is where Johnny Depp and Amber Heard held their libel trial, which is won in America by Johnny Depp, won here by Amber Heard. It's also where Prince Harry sued the British newspapers because he wanted privacy. Boo-hoo-hoo. Now, nobody here Team Harry, are they? Good. Oh, you are? Oh, well, never mind. Look up in the middle of the road, ladies and gentlemen. Can you see the dragon? Can you see the dragon? Now, the dragon is the dividing part of London. Right now, we're in the city of Westminster, the new part of London, and every time you see a dragon, we're leaving one part of the city to another. So everything on your right gets much, much older. No older than 1666, the Great Fire of London. On your right, have a look at this building here. The Middle Temple Lane, 1684, 18 years after the fire. The black building on your right is called the Knight Templars Church, featuring the Dan Brown book, The Knight Templars, which has now been given to the Law Society. Because the Knight Templars were outlawed by the Pope of Rome in the 1100s. On your right is the Mary's pub in London, the old Cock Tavern, made of wood straight up, and we used to build villages in London 400 years ago, and why we used to have so many fires. On your left, this is called St. Dunstan's in the West. This is the church which woke Ebenezer Scrooge up in A Christmas Carol. Now look where I'm pointing, and look up, and you're about to see the oldest statue in the world of Queen Elizabeth I. Ready, everybody? Built during her lifetime, thank you, in the 1500s, there. On your left is Fetter Lane, where the Great Fire of 1666 finished, Charles II having blown up all the houses in groups of four so the fire couldn't spread anymore. Coming up on your right is Sweeney Todd's barber surgery, even though he didn't exist, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. The red and white pole means in the 1500s, if you will, your barber used to cut you, so it's the red of your blood and the white of the bandages. Just underneath that scaffolding on your right is the first place in London to sell Guinness. It's called the Tipperary. It is the oldest Irish pub in the world outside Ireland. In front of you on the left is the Old Cheshire Cheese, where Charles Dickens, Mark Twain, Samuel Johnson, Voltaire, all the guys are shooting drink there. And this is the first pub in London built after the fire in 1667. So if anybody here has ever studied the fire of London at school, this is all to do with the fire. Burnt down London accidentally, a baker called Thomas Mannier let his evidence overnight and London was brought to ground. If we have any fans of Mary Poppins here, Mary Poppins fans, yes, this street on your left, man, is called Poppins Court. Can you see it? And this is where the author of Mary Poppins, P.L. Travis, got the idea for Mary Poppins. Because when she was a secretary in this area, she used to come past here every day. So this is the origins, on your right, of Mary Poppins. On your right is the Old Bell, one of two pubs built by Sir Christopher Wren, the same person who, after the fire, built St. Paul's Cathedral and 51 other pubs. Now, as we go up the hill, everybody look behind you, and you'll see the churches of brides. This is called the Tiered Wedding Cake Church. 300 years ago, that's where they got the idea. Anybody like motor racing? Anybody into Formula 1? Formula 1? Look left, my friends. Look left in this window here, and you're about to see Lewis Hamilton's car. Just there. Ready? There. That, my friends, is the car Lewis Hamilton won the Grand Prix in 2017. They've removed the engine to stop you stealing it. Are you impressed?
Yes.
Good. It gets faster. Shall we keep going? Are you staying? Stay with me. Stay with me, okay? You're not going to get a better tour today. Trust me, because I am the best tour guide in London. I'm also the head tour guide of Golden Tours, which means everything I say goes. So, on the left is the Albanian Central Criminal Court in London. This is St. Paul's Cathedral. Now, if everybody just looks to the top of St. Paul's Cathedral, just above the clock towers, and tell me, can you see some golden globes at the top? Yeah. Now, those golden globes, ladies and gentlemen, are pineapples.
No.
They're pineapples. The pineapple means welcome to London. It's the international sign of welcome. The middle doors are only open for members of the royal family. It's 365 feet tall because Wembley religion was spent every day of the year. If anybody wants to go up there, 528 steps. No? No? Yes, at the back, yes. You better ask your mum, sir, because she doesn't look very keen.
I'll wait to the bottom.
Ma'am, I last went up there when I was 10 years old, so that was what, 20 years ago? Don't look at me like that. So this is our stop for St Paul's Cathedral. Now, let me give you a tip, okay, because London can be quite expensive unless you know what I know. Now, if you want to go into St Paul's Cathedral for free, get here at 4:30, and at 5 o'clock they open the gates for a half-an-hour church worship called Evensong, and you can just wander in. Some of you might remember that this is where Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer got married in 1981. Anybody old enough to remember that? No. I was told about it by my family. I don't remember it at all. Right. I'm a good liar, aren't I? Now, 3 people are buried here. The Duke of Wellington, Lord Nelson is buried here, and also the architect who designed it, Sir Christopher Wren. Also, if you want to appear smart when you go back to school, children, you can always tie to Christopher Wren Church in London because he never ever used to use stained glass windows. So if you see a church in the City of London with clear glass, you can just say to your teacher, oh, that's a Wren, yes? Oh, couple of people leaving us. Have a good day, sir. Bye-bye. Just a few people coming down. Oh. Did I say you could take those seats? Of course you can. Of course you can. I'm just trying to exercise my control. Bye-bye, sir. Bye-bye, ma'am. There's a couple of people leaving us here. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. This is St Paul's. Are you leaving me too, ma'am? Was it something I said? No, that's fine. There'll be a bus here every 20 minutes. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye. Thank you for being the best group of people I have ever had on any bus I've ever done in my entire life. Have they gone? Good. Right, let's go. And the statue in front of St Paul's, her name is Queen Anne, and she was the Queen at the building of St Paul's Cathedral in 1710. Now, the royal family, do you know the royal family are German, and it's all to do with that lady there, because when she died in 1714, she left behind no male heirs to the throne. So we had to have a non-Roman Catholic king, because Henry VIII destroyed all the Roman Catholic churches when he founded the Church of England. We asked 50 people, will you be the King of England? Every single one of them was Roman Catholic. The 51st person, George I, just so happened to be the first non-Roman Catholic. So it's kind of like, that's why today the royal family are German. And the sun comes out to the back, isn't that lovely? Now have a look to your right, and you'll see the memorial to the fire brigade. Is St Paul's Cathedral during World War II. 1941, you had the Blitz of London. All these buildings on your right were destroyed because the Nazis were aiming for the Bank of England, the Royal Stock Exchange, and St Paul's Cathedral. So you look to the right, you will see the fire brigade, the memorial to the fire brigade, who saved St Paul's Cathedral during World War II. Road to your right lead you to the Millennium Bridge and the Tate Modern Gallery, the most popular museum in London. Now, the Millennium Bridge we're about to see on the right is famous for 2 reasons. Number 1, it was used in Harry Potter as the Death Ray Dragon. Number 2, in real life, on the first ever day it was opened in the year 2000, 100,000 people wandered over this bridge and it started to violently shake to the left and right. I don't know if anybody remembers this, so we used support from NASA, the space agency, in order to keep it strong. So everybody, have a look to your right. First of all, you can see the fire brigade just over there. There's a little market going all the way down here, which also leads you to Borough Market, but don't worry, we'll be in Borough Market very, very soon. And also over the river, you have the Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, the 3rd Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, built in 1997. The previous ones were either blown up during a performance in the 1600s or pulled down by Oliver Cromwell, who did not like theatres. He banned theatres. Oliver Cromwell, our dictator, in 1649, after the English Civil War. So, keep looking right. Oh, by the way, this is called the City of London. This is where they make all the money in London. So whatever you do, don't come here at night, because there's nothing to do and there's nothing open. The only people you'll see at night are lost tourists. People here wearing suits are multi-millionaires. These are rich people here. Yeah? So they might be rich, but are they happy? Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, yes. So on your right, here we go. Here's the fire brigade, and there's the Millennium Bridge, just over there, the wibbly-wobbly Harry Potter Bridge. The supports from NASA, the space agency, the red building there is called the City of London School. That's where Daniel Radcliffe went to school. The brown building is called the Royal College of Arms, who have just come up with the coat of arms for the King. C3R. R means Rex. Rex is Latin for King, which is why on all the post boxes it has the sign for the Queen. E2R, Elizabeth II Regina. Regina is Latin for Queen. That's it. So remember, everything here closes at night. The only places open after 7 o'clock are the pubs, because that's where the city workers go after work. If anybody wants to meet a multimillionaire, I'll show you where they go and get drunk. No. Are you sure? It's better to marry for money than love. No, okay, that's fair enough. Now everybody, do what my Canadian friends are doing here. Have a look back at the beautiful dome of St Paul's Cathedral and have a look at the people at the top who've just realised we have to climb down 528 steps. If you've got children at the front, just send them out the back with your cameras. That's why you brought children on the bus. No? Fine. Don't climb. You'll be fine. Good. Now, on your right, this is a drinking fountain put here in the 1800s by the temperance movement, a lot of women who wanted men to stop drinking. On your left is the American Chapel, blown up in 1943, rebuilt in 1950 to thank the 28,000 servicemen who came into London to rescue us during World War II. A lot of the streets in this area show you the kinds of things the Romans used to sell at market, like Bread Street, like Milk Street, like Garlic Hill, or this street here, Cannon Street. What did the Romans used to sell here? Candles. Candles. They never used to sell cannons here. Candle is a Roman word meaning cannon. So this originally was called Candlewick Street. We're heading down towards London Bridge. That will be our next stop today. Rosie will lead you down to the Royal Stock Exchange and the Bank of England. If anybody's ever been to London before and you have old banknotes you can't get rid of, go to the Bank of England and they'll exchange them for you. Oh, it's quite nice now, isn't it? A moment ago it was really freezing. We got some seats in the back if anybody wants some fresh air. At the back, yes. Lovely. You didn't think you'd come to London to get a suntan, did you? No. Now, coming up on your right is a red building called Bracken House. Lord Bracken was the best friend of Winston Churchill, and in 1943 he thought it would be hilarious to put the face of Winston Churchill in the middle of the clock, the astrological clock, because Churchill always said, I never want a statue of myself in London because of what pigeons do to statues. So, in a moment everybody, you're about to see the funniest joke ever in London. Try and hold back your laughter. So as we go deeper into the city, have a look to your right, everybody. Bracken House, look for the astrological clock and look for the face, the kind of face only a mother could love, of Winston Churchill just over there. There, see him? Churchill. You don't look very amused. 80 years ago that was hilarious. On your right, this is where some of the city workers work. They work here Monday to Friday, 9:30 till 3, and when they finish work at 3 o'clock, they go home to their dear wives and children. No, they go to the pub, just up here. So this street here, Bread Street, this is where the Romans used to make bread. Royal Stock Exchange around there. The City of London has a population of 7.5 million. 500,000 people come in every single day to make the world a Great Britain. It has its own army, it has its own police force who are called centres because this was set up by the Romans, and it also has its own Lord Mayor. This square mile, 1.2 miles of London, is like a separate country. But remember, don't come here at night. Nothing is open and there's nothing to do. It's a bit like if you're in America, go to Wall Street, you would not do that. So for some reason the traffic is very, very heavy today, heading towards London Bridge, probably because of all the construction work the Lord Mayor of London has allowed. Every single post pillar is supposed to represent a French cannon, by the way, their imitation there, and all the French cannons were from all the wars we've beaten them in over the years. Now, to become a true Londoner is called a Cockney, the Cockney accent. God blimey, Mary Poppins. But to become a true Londoner, you need to be born to this road down on your left. This is called Bow Lane, the Church of Mary Le Bow, and if you're born with the sounds of these bells, you're a true Cockney. You can, those are the bells of St Paul's Cathedral, the heaviest bells in Great Britain. 17 tons, 3.5 tons heavier than the bells of St Paul's Cathedral. This was also the target with Nazi Germany during World War II. St Paul's Cathedral, the Bank of England and the Royal Stock Exchange. It would have destroyed the financial area. St Paul's Cathedral would have destroyed the spiritual part of London. I mean, you didn't see the pineapple, there it is on top, the international sign of welcome. And 400 years ago, pineapples were the most expensive fruit in the world. It used to take a week's wages to buy a pineapple. That's why only royalty used to own pineapples. So on your left, Bow Lane, Mary Le Bow Church. On your left is the Royal Stock Exchange and the Bank of England. On your left, this is the Sugarloaf. This is where the multi-millionaires go to get drunk after work. Anytime after 3 o'clock, just over here. On Fridays, the workers finish work at 1 o'clock because Friday in London is called Poets' Day, which stands for Push Off Early Tomorrow's Saturday. This building coming up on your left is called the Bloomberg News Agency. If you go to the top, you'll see London sunsetting after 8:30, 9:15 in the evening. There's 2 places you have to book. Also in here, you have a 2,000-year-old Roman temple called the Temple of Mithras, which is a bunch of rocks on the ground. Now, in a moment, we're going to go over London Bridge. You've all heard of London Bridge? Does anybody know the song? London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Thank you. Now, the reason why we sing that is because 2,000 years ago, London Bridge was made out of wood by the Romans. It had 400 houses on it. What happened to it after 600 years? It fell down. So the current London Bridge is the 4th London Bridge over the River Thames, and it was built in 1973, because in 1968, Arizona in America came along and they bought London Bridge. And if you go to America, Arizona, and you will see London Bridge over a man-made lake there called Lake Havasu, which means the current London Bridge is only 52 years old. It has just been voted the 3rd most overrated tourist attraction in Great Britain. So if anybody here has never seen London Bridge before with their own eyes, anybody about to see it with their own eyes, yes? Don't hold up too much hope. It's not great. So on your left, this is the River Walbrook, which runs into the River Thames. 3 parts of the River Thames. One is the River Walbrook, one is the River Fleet from Fleet Street, and one is the River Thames, the 2nd longest river in Great Britain. So this is Cannon Street, this is Cannon Street Station. The further we go into the city, the narrower the bollards get as we go deeper and deeper into the city. The police boxes, if you're a fan of Doctor Who, in the City of London are light blue. Outside the City of London, they're dark blue, if you see one of those. So yes, the 3 most overrated tourist attractions in Great Britain by votes. Number 1, Shrek's Adventure. Number 2, Stonehenge, a bunch of rocks in a field in the middle of nowhere. Nobody here has booked tickets to go and see Stonehenge, have they? No, good, don't. Seriously, it's £30 of your money you'll never ever get back. They're supposed to be magical and mystical. They are a bunch of rocks, okay? And number 3 is London Bridge. Now, the only interesting thing about London Bridge is on there you will find the monument built to honour the people of Dublin after the Great Fire of 1666, because when the monument falls over, it hits Pudding Lane, and that's where the fire started in 1666. 3/4 of London were burned to the ground. It burnt out the Great Plague of the previous year, which had killed 100,000 people. Only 6 people died in the fire, so it was quite a good exchange. And all the wooden buildings were then rebuilt out of stone. So that's why most of London, even today, is built out of stone. You are not allowed to build a building in London made out of wood with a thatched roof. There is only one building in law allowed to have a thatched roof, and that's the Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. It's the only one in London. By the way, if you're looking for the Tower of London, don't get off at the London Bridge. It's the wrong bridge. So many people get off at London Bridge and they look around for the Tower of London going, where is it, where is it? Wrong bridge. Because some people think Tower Bridge is London Bridge. Tower Bridge is the one which goes up. We'll see that in a moment. So the excitement is building from all my friends who've never seen London Bridge before with their own eyes. It's building. It's coming up on the right, ladies and gentlemen. But next right after these traffic lights is London Bridge. Don't expect too much. I think some of you have already seen it before. Yes, you know what to expect, don't you, ma'am? Yes. The oranges and lemons at the bells of St Clement's Church, St Clement's East Street, is just down there on your left. And that church just down there on your left, down King's William Street, is where they used to say prayers to thank God for the safe provision of fruits and vegetables into London. Can you see just where it says Flight Centre over there, ladies and gentlemen, that street there? That street there is Pudding Lane. That's where the fire started. But we'll see Pudding Lane, if you've ever studied, has anybody here ever read about the Fire of London or studied it at school? So we'll see Pudding Lane properly after we've left the Tower of London. And I'll get you and your mum to turn around and get a photograph of Pudding Lane, okay? And then you can go to school and your teacher will go, ooh, I've never seen this before. Now, on your right, everybody ready? This is London Bridge.
Oh.
This is London Bridge. You don't look very impressed. Oh, that's there's a Sky Roof Garden. It's called the Walkie Talkie, and you can book there online to see London sunsetting. It's absolutely free, absolutely free. You just book for the Sky Roof Garden. Okay, just over there. Right, everybody, look left and look up, and we're about to see the monument made to honour the people of London after the Great Fire of 1666. Ready, steady, there. You can see a couple of people there who climbed the 311 steps to the top. £6, and you make it to the top, they'll give you a certificate saying, well done. You are really stupid. I mean, well done. You made it to the top now. So anybody going up the monument, and one of the weird, so this is London Bridge, the church in front of you, it's called Southwark Cathedral, dedicated to the Mother of Jesus, who was also called My Fair Lady. So this bridge here, London Bridge, that church there, My Fair Lady. That's why. Now, this is London Bridge, 1973. Let's have a guess. Which way do you think we should look for Tower Bridge? Which way? No? That way. Here we go. You are very, very nearly right. So Tower Bridge, by that, was built in 1894. It's called a Bascule Bridge, which is with seasonal. It used to rise 1,000 times a week. Nowadays, your market it rises 800 times a year. It used to bring in fruit and vegetables, oranges, lemons, and pineapples into London. The grey ship on your left is called the Belfast. It fired the opening shots in Normandy in the D-Day landings, and its gun could fire 12 miles. And that took part in the Victory in Europe days 2,000 ago. And by the way, the flag on the front of that ship is called the Union Jack, because the red, white, and blue flag, it's only called the Union Jack when it's on the front of the boat. Otherwise, it's called the Union flag. Right, we're leaving the City of London. Whenever you see a dragon, it's taking you from one part of London to the other. If the dragon is facing towards us, we're entering the city. If the dragon is facing away from us, we're leaving the city. So can you all see a silver dragon coming up on your left? Can you all see a dragon just behind the 133 on your right? So, let's see. So those of you at the front, you're now in the south of London. Those of you in the middle of the bus, you're still in the east end of London. Ma'am and sir, right at the back of the bus, you're in a different part of London to us. And so we all pass through here. The Stonewall Gate is where the Romans had their gate into the city, and this is where they used to put the heads of executed traitors, including Braveheart, William Wallace. Borough Market is just underneath the bridge. If you want to go to the finest market in the world, you just go underneath the bridge and you turn right, and you'll get all so many free food samples there. You won't need to eat for the rest of the day. Right, this is all stopped for Borough Market, Tooley Street, and that kind of thing. Now, have a look right, and have a look up. Tallest building in Western Europe. Isn't it horrible? Isn't it horrible? The Shard, you're absolutely right, man. The Shard is 309.9 metres tall. It was designed 11 years ago by the Italian architect Renzo Piano. There's only one person who lives up there. Renzo Piano, because he didn't ask for a fee for it, he asked for an apartment. Every apartment at the top of the Shard, ladies and gentlemen, will cost you £40 million. Nice and cheap. But by the way, if you try to go to the Shards, they'll charge you £28. So this is what you've got to do to get in for free. Book a ticket to the Shangri-La Hotel. Book a drink there. You don't even need to take the drink. And then you show the reservation for the Shangri-La Hotel and they have to let you up for free. I've just saved you £28 each. No need to thank me. That's okay. Oh, yeah. No, if you book a ticket for any of the hotels up there, ma'am, they can't charge you. But if you're just going up as a sightseer, just, you know, with your camera looking like a tourist or anything like that, they'll charge you £28. So just book a ticket. The Shangri-La Hotel is the most famous one, and it's the highest one up there, which gives you an excuse to go up 300 metres. And once you've gone 300 metres, you might as well go up another 9 metres. Children, please don't take the way I treat London as serious, okay? I'm showing you how to cheat the system. It's not a good way to live. On your left, this is called the Hayes Galleria, which used to be a wharf, which means warehouse. This is where we used to bring in fruits and vegetables, oranges and lemons and pineapples. There's a shop here called the Christmas Shop, which is open every single day of the year, apart from one. Christmas Day, very good. And coming up on your right is a 300-year-old pub called the Shipwrights Arms. Children, please don't look at the naked statue of Mrs. Harris. I said don't look. Now you can look if you like, it's only a statue. Now, 300 years ago, this is where we used to trick people into joining the Royal Navy. In those days, we used to drink beer out of metal tankards. When you weren't looking, somebody from the Navy would drop a shilling into your beer, and you drank it to the bottom. You just say you entered the Navy. You were first in the Navy, out to sea for 5 years. You didn't even have time to go home and say goodbye to your dear wife and children. Imagine this, Daddy going out for a beer on a Friday night and not coming home for 5 years. There would be hell to pay. And that's why we started drinking out of glasses. And that's why the metal tankards used to have glass bottoms. So you used to lift them up and see if there was a coin inside. So when we're having beer, when grown-ups are having beer, and we say cheers to each other, we say bottoms up, because you lift up the glass just to check there's nothing in there. If you're going out tonight, everybody, don't worry, we don't do that anymore. Two seconds. Yes, this will do for London Bridge. Four people just getting off, okay? Right. Now, my friends at the front, don't cry, because you'll be able to look back in a moment and see the Shard, okay? You'll see the tallest building in Western Europe. It doesn't even look like it's finished, does it? Seriously. It took 11 years to build. Well, it took around 5 years to build. It's 11 years old, the Shard. Floor 12 is completely empty because nobody can afford to live up there. And there's hotels there. 2 years ago, somebody thought it would be a good idea to abseil up there, and they would stop 200 metres to the top. They knocked on somebody's hotel window at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning. The person opened their curtains and found this lunatic outside, waving at them from outside. So the Marilyn Monroe exhibition just around the corner. The Shipwrights Arms, by the way, is the favourite pub in London for English football hooligans. So people who like football, that's where they go and get drunk at the weekend before football matches. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm not allowed to tell you why there's a naked statue though. I'm not allowed. Yeah, just ask me when you get off if you're not a child. I can't say it in front of children. Now there's only one beer brewed in London, and that's called London Pride. So let's see why we've stopped. 2 seconds, I might have to pull rank.